Hello, everybody. It's Bobby here from Full Tilt Weather. We're going to be talking about Invest 92L, maybe touching a little bit on Gamma, talking about Invest 92L's expected evolution to become Tropical Storm Delta, and what that means for the United States. First, we'll start with Gamma because this is the shortest part of the whole thing. So, Gamma has, of course, turned southwest. Not much of a threat here. It never really was much of a threat. It's just, it had about an 8% chance maybe it made it through the high. As soon as the high bracket began to hit, 5 days ago, you knew what the likelihood of that was relatively nothing. It's going to make a little disturbance down over Mexico. So, we're going to follow the high right now. We have a high all the way from south of Monterrey, Mexico, all the way into about Pittsburgh, Washington area right now. That's kind of following the Appalachians right through there. You see that little outlook right there through the Appalachians. Man, I need to get my wording right. There is an issue that I was noticing this morning. And like I was saying, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think the high will break by the time Delta comes into play. Well, we're in that time frame now, folks. We really are. This could be a bad scenario. I mean, a really bad scenario. This could be, another large hurricane hit. We might get lucky. I mean, the high could hold. But here's the evidence of why I think the high will not hold. So, we're dealing with 1019 over Houston right now. That's coming from a marine observation post. We move down here. We have ship observation post down here. 115. This is just north of Cuba. And you look at these areas here, we're at about 112, 113. Well, whenever you get at about 112, 113, you can have tropical storms. And this is the closest hit to it, 1009. Base lows expected to be 1008 millibar right now. So, we're having this crack in that high in between where Gamma's turning north of the Yucatan into the southern part of Florida, fleeing all the way to north of Melbourne area right now. So, yeah. St. Augustine, 118. Port St. Lucie. Yeah, doubles right there. So, all the way up. So, theoretically, due to numbers, nothing should even at this moment stop future tropical storm Delta. That's what I'm going to refer to it as. It's so close to Delta, you may as well just go ahead and call it Delta. It's actually not an invest numbering right now. Believe it or not, it actually should be Tropical Disturbance 26 currently. It's not actually currently at invest level. And it's currently only 6 mile per hour away from being Tropical Storm Delta. But you're dealing with a 1013 here. Well, this is a 1008. Enough bracket that we could expect. Currently in this cycle, there's a high locked in place. We could expect Delta to make it right here west of Tampa Bay area. The high has let up enough that it has good air to get this far. That will take roughly 150 to 160 hours for it to make that trip. By the time it gets there, this high bracket will be beginning to decompose. The question is going to be exactly how far it decomposes. Many models are putting it up along I-40. Some models are putting it down around I-20. This is something you're going to have to keep a really close eye on as it occurs. If it stays on I-20, could deflect it. If it goes up to I-40, the Gulf Coast is in a bad way. That's just how that'd go. But as you can see, early models are beginning to catch it now. American and European has caught it. The American hasn't yet. The Americans had strong control over it for about 2 or 3 months, or 2 or 3 weeks now. But it currently hasn't put a run out for enhanced data. So we're dealing with possible cone here is going to be between Lake Charles and around Destin to Tallahassee. These are all the new invest lines. None of this is Gamma. As you can see, follow them up. Lake Charles, Tallahassee. That's kind of the place right now. I was originally expecting Tampa Bay, but due to the high shift, I fully do agree with this, because that high is going to be shifting up here into the eastern portion of the United States. That should allow for some change for it to go more west than originally expected. So here is the Europeans outrun, putting it just south of Louisiana. What? And it basically hit right through that area. It's thinking it goes roughly the same area Sally went. It doesn't really put it that strong. 999 millibar would be pretty close to strong tropical storm. Not really Cat 1 hurricane. Cat 1 hurricane, you need 980 millibar. So that one's off a while. The issue with this is the European always underrates numbers. This is a common thing. This is something that any meteorologist knows. So if it's going 999, I'm going to say it's Cat 2 possible. Just from knowing the trendings of a European set. GFS is probably going to put it somewhere between Cat 2, Cat 3 probably. If this comes true, it's all according to this ridge. So in this depiction, I was talking about some models were putting it right around I-20, which is right here. I-20 runs through the middle of Texas, the northern part of Louisiana, central part of Mississippi and Alabama, and north central part of Georgia. Well, as you can see, our lowest points right here are North Carolina and right around Nevada. So that's right on the Interstate 40 line, which runs, through West Texas, central Oklahoma, northern Arkansas, right in here. In this depiction, I would expect a large, dangerous storm. I really would. A lot of this is just going to come down to the next couple of days and trending. But this is definitely a threat. I mean, a real threat. GFS is running older models, which this is the American. As you can see, it thinks it spins around down there with Gamma, and then hits Lake Charles. That's a weak tropical storm right now. I don't agree with this very much, because as you can see, the GFS has the same trending that we were seeing from the European sets. So, yeah, the high bracket here, everything's folding off around that same area right here. You have a low distributing trying to move through that area. This is something that's been real hit and go long distance. We'll talk about it. Big quasar linear line possible through the middle of the month. This is something that's been on and off. I know I've mentioned it a couple of times. A huge QCLS like this could be possible through the middle of the month. This would wind up being a long-term 60-mile-per-hour wind threat, extremely widespread through multiple states with a isolated to medium chance of spin-up tornadoes. These are the kind of lines, that drop mass havoc, high winds, or large amounts of high winds, not mass havoc. That's not really. And, usually produce 30 to 150 tornadoes over, a 40-hour period. This is kind of what we're looking at. I think there's about a 60% chance this is true. I think the numbers will weeble wobble on it a lot over the next, 10 days, but this is not really my primary forecasting issue right now. I'm more worried about, possible tropical storm Delta. Much more than I am, a QCLS. It's just gonna knock trees. This thing's capable of, doing some real damage. But currently at the moment, that's what we know. And I'm gonna get off of here. Y'all have a blessed day. If you made it this far, like and follow, share. All that's appreciated. Y'all have a blessed day. I'm going to go back to crunching these numbers.